I mean, I just think it would be kind of cool if, like, you and me cast Peer into the Abyss, targeting my opponent. Haha, JK. Unless. Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for another Legacy video. And today I would like to force my opponent to draw half of their library. And yes, this is going to win me the game. Let's take a look at how this combo is going to work. It's your boy, Orcish Bowmasters. He's back again. Hopefully you're not tired of him because he's here to stay, folks. So whenever our opponent draws a card, we get to amass some orcs and ping our opponent for 1. Peer into the Abyss allows our opponent to lose half of their life total, and Orcish Bowmasters is going to take out the other half. But Phil, surely you need more redundancy in this combo. That's correct, Timmy. So let's take a look at our other fan favorite card, Sheoldred the Apocalypse, which is another Orcish Bowmasters effect in that when our opponent draws cards, they are going to lose life. Now, Peer into the Abyss is something that costs a gajillion D mana, even by Legacy standards, and we're going to play a bunch of ritual effects to help out, but if we have Sheoldred and Orcish Bowmasters as this side of the combo, we're going to need Peer into the Abyss and something else to balance the other side, so that we have 2 different sets of A plus B that can go together interchangeably. So the other side of this combo that we're going to go for is Echo of Eons, which is a draw 7. Now, draw 7 doesn't literally put our opponent dead, but it's worth 14 points of damage with Sheoldred directly, or it's worth 7 plus 7 amass triggers via Orcish Bowmasters, and hopefully that's good enough, especially considering how much we're going to be able to take advantage of a new set of 7 compared to our opponents. And we'll be playing a mono black mana base today, meaning that we're going to need to use Echo of Eons. Sorry, we're going to need to use Lion's Eye Diamond to put Echo of Eons into our graveyard and then go and cast it. Notably here, there's a nice little trick. This tends to play around surgical extraction effects because Lion's Eye Diamond does not create a priority pass. It is a mana ability. A little bit of a strange one in that you can't activate it during the resolution of a spell, and that differentiates it from Black Lotus. So if your opponent has surgical extraction, they can't just immediately surgical your Echo before you have a chance to cast it, which is really useful. And we're going to have Urza's Saga, not as a way to produce constructs like we normally do it. I mean, it's still going to have that ability. It's still something that can happen, but this is primarily going to be a way for us to go and fetch out our Lion's Eye Diamond and more consistently do the Echo of Eons side of our combo. So let's go ahead and take a look at the full deck list now. Now, today's video is sponsored by both Moxfield.com as well as Cool Stuff Inc. And if you end up wanting to buy any paper Magic cards, please check out Cool Stuff Inc. and use promo code ThrabenU to save 5% on your order. So here's the deck list in all of its glory. Interactions that I haven't talked about yet include using Entomb to search for Echo of Eons to put that into the graveyard. And we are also going to have Wishclaw Talisman as a way for us to go and find our missing piece of our A plus B combo. We are playing a land that you might not be super familiar with, Peat Bog. It's one of the depletion lands. It enters tapped with 2 counters on it, and you can remove a counter to add 2 black mana to your mana pool. As far as the sideboard goes, things are relatively straightforward with some traditional mono black stuff, and since we are combo oriented, we also have Defense Grid to help out in the Force of Will matchups. Thank you very much to Steven for giving me a Dealer's Choice donation deck list to try out this nonsense, and let's battle. My first hand here is a very tough one to evaluate because I can play an incredibly strong Urza's Saga game in some capacity or other and plan on comboing much, much later. I think I'm supposed to keep this. This is not the deck, air quotes, doing the thing, but this is a strong opening hand. Let's cast some spells. 1, 2, 3. Metalcraft is on. I think so. Orcish Bowmasters can't get dazed. I am just going to sorcery speed play this out rather than try to get my opponent's cantrip. And if this card gets answered, this card gets answered, and I don't super care about it since I'm planning on playing an Urza Saga construct-based game anyway. I don't know. I've just faced so much Grixis Delver recently that I just don't want to expose my card to daze if I don't have to. All right, sure. Dragon Rage Channeler is fine. Yeah, this is fully a fair Urza Saga game. I don't think I attack with Bowmasters. Beep beep. Also, I fully feel vindicated for choosing to play around days after getting paired into what I presume is Grixis Delver. It feels like very easily the most popular deck in the entire format right now. I don't know if that's statistically true or not, but I am playing against it so much in leagues right now. The thing that I am most afraid of is Wasteland. This Lightning Bolt doesn't matter so long as I do actually have the Urza Saga. Fuck you. No! Wasteland too strong. Opponent is debating attacking. I don't think they should do because this Orc token is tapped. So I would have to trade Bowmasters directly for that. And if I had Bowmasters, I'd just kill this anyway. Well, kind of here to do a thing, you know? So let's cast this Entomb. Put an Echo into the graveyard. Do I play Ancient Tomb? I always play Mox Opal. I'm going to play Ancient Tomb. If this Echo resolves, I don't need the Ancient Tomb, but if this Echo gets countered, I do need the Ancient Tomb. I'm safe around days, I'm not safe against Force of Will and Force of Negation if my opponent is playing that. Yep. That's okay. Discarding the Peer into the Abyss is not really a cost. Sacrificing the LED is, because that shuts off Mox Opal. But I think that's the cost of doing business here. I don't care about that Force of Will that much. Like, it matters, but... Oh. Hello, Spice. So we're going to have to keep in mind Stifle in the future because we've seen Phyrexian Dreadnought. Anyway, if my opponent wins this game, the game-winning play was that Wasteland. Not the counterspell on the draw 7. My Bowmasters is a little late here. Future Dragon Rage Channelers. I think I miss 1 point of damage here to potentially do cool things with Orcish Bowmasters this time. Already playing around days. But like sometimes my opponent plays a post-combat Murktide Regent and shrinks this down and I get to kill it, or sometimes they play something like a Delver. I don't think they have room for Delver in their deck lists if they're playing Phyrexian Dreadnought. Alright, so I miss a point of damage as the opportunity cost here. I think I do just play this now. And we'll amass. Opal's a pretty bad draw. I'm under enough pressure that I think I attack with both of these. Bowmasters is very bad for me, though. But I don't think I am in the position where I get to play conservatively with my Bowmasters now. Like, I could take the half a turn cycle to wait, but I don't think I can wait more than that. Lightning Bolt my face, yeah. Definitely scared. This attack puts me to 5. I am in range of attack plus Lightning Bolt killing me. And it's very scary for me to tap Ancient Tomb. That's a dead draw. My Ancient Tomb is off. I don't know that I'm on outs anymore. My opponent gets the attack that matters. Like, I can attack them to 3, but they have lethal 1 swing before I do. And they've got the Lightning Bolt to kill me. GG's. So, how do I want to do this? I definitely want my 4 copies of Defense Grid for the combo portion of my deck list. Here feels exceptionally hard to resolve. I think I'm going to cut my copies of Peer and maybe a copy of Wishclaw Talisman for 4 defense grids. And I'd also like to be able to get Shadow Spear off of Urza's Saga. Maybe I'll cut 1 more Wishclaw here. I could do something like Plague Engineer or Leyline, but I think if I want to keep the combo portion of my deck list at least somewhat intact, I have to do this. I'm going to keep a hand that's not quite all the way there. I think when my opponent's on the draw, there's a very good chance they mulligan to Force of Will, and quickly shutting off Force of Will is something that sounds really, really good to me. Nice. I will not play out Lion's Eye Diamond here because Meltdown is a thing that exists, and I don't need it for Metalcraft or anything yet. Meltdown will be exceptionally good against me, given the texture of this hand. It just got a little bit less good. So do I play out the second defense grid? It feels like yes. Against cards that are not named Meltdown, that represents some very relevant points of power increase for Urza's Saga. All right. There is a 12-12 Trampler, and I am at 16. Not the best for me. All right. Can I pivot into a combo turn? Chrome Mox, Imprint, Sheoldred. Cast Wishclaw off Ancient Tomb and Chrome Mox. Wishclaw for LED. Do a draw 7 and try to do something powerful. My regular size Urza Saga tokens with Shadow Spear are probably not beating the Dreadnought, so I think we are going combo. And my stuff resolves. So, Junk Sheoldred, cast Wishclaw, activate Wishclaw, get Echo, play LED, crack LED, draw 7. Okay. That was bad. We're not out of this yet, but that was bad. So, Petal, Petal, Entomb, find Echo, cast Echo. We've tapped our lands now, though, so it's harder for me to go again. At this point, my opponent can like tutor for a Meltdown and probably Meltdown for X's too, getting rid of my defense grizz, my Chrome Mox, and my Vault of Whispers. I think I hold till next turn. Like, I have very good stuff here. And these echoes go to exile, so they're gone. Going to exactly 12, or sorry, go to exactly 2 here is rough because this Ancient Tomb doesn't tap for mana anymore. I can fish another LED out of my hand, out of my deck, and that helps with that a bit. I've got the 3 mana to cast Entomb and Orcish Bowmasters while ignoring Ancient Tomb. Oh fuck, I'm dead to Lightning Bolt. Wishclaw, Talisman, activate, get Lightning Bolt me, kills me. I had to keep going. I was so focused about the Meltdown, which beat me in a different way, that I missed the other onboard thing. GG. I'm kind of the opinion that this deck is going to struggle versus Force of Will decks. I goldfished a handful of games in the tournament practice room, and you're often all in on a spell resolving, and when it doesn't, it is scary. And Delver in particular, it also has Wasteland to take out the Urza Saga backup plan is rough. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, which is just the best place to keep your online deck lists. And one of the things that I love about them is that you can use it to keep track of what cards you do and don't have for a deck. So for example, in this deck list, I have all of the cards, so there are nice blue bubbles filled in here, and that's automatically ported over to your collection tab, where you can see exactly what cards you do and don't have. All right, we are hoping to be playing against a non-blue deck, because I get to do the thing on turn 2 if I don't have to worry about counterspells. Well, in good news, I don't have to worry about counterspells. So, I can play this turn a shit ton of different ways. I can play Sheoldred and pass, which is very good against Griselbrand. But then my opponent just tutors for Archon of Cruelty, and I'm sad. Or I can play Vault, Petal, Petal, LED, Entomb, Echo, and go into the second half of the turn with 2 Lotus Petals, a new 7, and my opponent might not have Entomb anymore, which I think is the way that I'm going to do this. Alright, yaw. Yaw. Second petal. LED. Entomb. Grab Echo. Go for blue. Cast Echo. I'm so upset right now. I'm so incredibly upset right now. Okay, my pain intensifies. This is some bullshit. Alright, we're chilling. My opponent's just on main deck Pyroblast. I get it. I'm just upset. That's incredibly aggressive. I very much doubt that Lightning Bolt with that timing is correct. My opponent's on a third land drop, and they're fetching to play something. Am I eating a K command? No? Okay, it's a Murktide Regent. Notably, it's one that leaves Pyroblast in the yard, meaning that they have Snapcaster Mage in their deck. So that's a thing. My Wishclaw Talisman isn't quite good yet. It's close to good. But I'm dead pretty quickly, and I need... Okay, well, that's not bad. At least gives me a shot at being in this game. I think it is a relatively low percentile chance that I win this game after giving my opponent 7 cards, but I get to try. Notably, this will grow... no, it's a shuffle first. How is this worded? Leaves your graveyard. Yeah, okay. So that will grow Murktide Regent. Days is fine. Alright, so Murktide Regent grows. I've given my opponent 7 cards. Let's see if I can keep going. I guess new Mox Opal first is technically correct. Alright. 3 mana Dark Ritual. Cast an Orcish Bowmasters. I am going to kill the Dragon Rage Channeler. Ooh, I am getting movement here. Okay, I just fetched. I'm not sure that I understand quite why. Play out LED. Do a Wishclaw. That's a Force of Negation, stopping my turn there. They have their own Orcish Bowmasters, which is frustrating. I don't think we're ever going to beat Delver. Okay, sure. That's good to know about for the next game. This is 8 damage, and they have a Bowmasters in play. They can also just Wishclaw Talisman for Lightning Bolt to kill me. Yeah, Delver is a nightmare matchup here. I think I'm going to do the same thing as last time, where I go Peer into the Abyss out, Defense Grid in, and I think I pitched 1 Wishclaw Talisman, brought in Shadow Spear for backup, and then second one of these. All right, how does this one play out? Turn 1 Peat Bog. Turn 2 have 5 mana, use 1 for Entomb, 1 for Echo. I feel like I can do better than this. I just don't think this hand's very safe. 5 mana on turn 1, Wishclaw with 3 mana available. I don't like this either. Keep 5 of these. 1, 2, 3. This 1, 2, 3, 4. Sheoldred turn 1. Doesn't get lightning bolted. Doesn't get unholy heated early. Have Orcish Bowmasters for later. Just have to rely on the deck drawing mana. There a different way to do this? Vault, Petal, Bowmasters. No, I think it's just better to lead on Sheoldred. Bowmasters is answered by too many things, including opposing Bowmasters. So let's make some mana. Going to get Force of Willed. My opponent paused. They've got something. Yeah. I mean, I mulliganed to 5 trying to find a safer hand to keep, and I just failed. That's miserable. Okay, this game's over. I'm going to jump to me being dead, unless I'm wrong. Yeah, I was not wrong. We didn't really draw good things from here. Like, I could pretend that, you know, I could do something with these cards, but with like a Wasteland in play, a Murktide Regent, and opposing Bowmasters, It's not happening. All right, round 3 opening hand is a keep. I have to decide how I want to play it. We're hoping to be playing against a cantrip deck here. We are. Okay, probably not Grixis Delver this time, which is good, because we have established that I'm never beating that deck. I think I just ignore the existence of Peat Bog in my hand. I'm going to go Vault, Chromox, imprint the Pier, and pass. Oh, kind of gross. That kind of incentivizes me to play things out to the board rather than holding up this Bowmasters like I was planning on doing. It gives my opponent a chance to brainstorm that they wouldn't have had if I played things out at sorcery speed, but I think I was supposed to wait, because if I just play it out, yeah. If I just play it out, then I open myself up to prismatic ending, which is very likely given, you know, a start on basic island. All right. Lotus Petal. It's a little awkward in that I'm going to have 5 mana, but I can't really cast both my spells meaningfully right now. My Lotus Petal is my only source of blue. All right. Punish Cantrips dot plan is a go. I'm actually kind of happy that that eats a Force of Will, because it means that Entomb for Echo and cast Echo is a real plan next turn. Tomb for Echo is 4 mana. I do not have enough mana to do all of the things that I want to do here. I think that's fine. I think I just go ahead and attack on in with no fear. My opponent pitched a Force of Will to their previous Force of Will, so I'm not too worried. I think I am just crashing in. All right, so they make a 1/1. I now cast a new Orcish Bowmasters, ping their construct, get in for additional points of damage here. My opponent's at 12. Cantrips hurt a lot. Okay, they are not even going for... Oh. This is what's happening here. Okay. Sure. That's pretty good. But my opponent's dead if they don't have another Force of Will. All right. Cast Entomb. Get Echo. Blue. I think I'll use a Peat Bog here. I'm going to cast Echo while holding priority to cast Dark Ritual and not give my opponent a chance to use random main deck. Okay, yeah. All right, we did the thing. So this is a deck that I've played on my channel before. It is Minotaurs. It is potentially going to have standstills in it. It is going to have counter magic in it. Am I just boarding out Pier every round? Should Pier even be in the deck? Like, is it just too expensive? It might just be too expensive. So these out for defense grids. Pithing Needle for Didgeridoo is like a thing that I think I like enough to do. Defense Grid is one of my best cards in the matchup, but I have literal no pieces of my A plus B combo here, so I would rather mulligan this one. How does this hand work? I can YOLO with this hand and just turn 1, draw 7. Am I going to do better than a YOLO hand on 5 cards? Probably not. I'm going to keep this pitch a Sheoldred, and this hand can get better with a lot of draws where I can put a Bowmasters or a Sheoldred into play first before I do other things. That's a weird draw. Is my opponent randomly going to have Meltdown? I'm going to cast 1 Lotus Petal so that I can cast a Bowmasters if I need to. I can just slam a Sheoldred. I think I'm going to play with some patience here. It's so likely that my opponent has a counterspell of some nature. All right, there's Saga. Okay. So I think my opponent has a soft permission spell because they didn't play that on turn 1. Now they could have just drawn that, but I think they might have a Flusterstorm, for example. I want to cast Fair Bowmasters. This is my chance. I don't think Fair Bowmasters beats Didgeridoo. Chrome Mox. Chrome Mox imprint Bowmasters. Sheoldred Entomb a little bit later. I think this is the way that I'm going. Imprint you. I do play you out so that I can play around days. And we'll throw this down. Oh, it's getting a response. Oh, sure, that's fine. Ooh, okay, there's the Flusterstorm I got the read on. So, the question now becomes, how bad of a Minotaur does my opponent have, and do they have a follow-up piece of interaction? Also, do I play out this Urza Saga? I think I do. So we cast Entomb, do an Echo. I have to use this Lotus Petal for blue, and we'll see if I get punished for playing Urza Saga, because this is not a starting black source. All right, what are you doing? Just putting in a Minotaur? Putting in a Minotaur. That's fine. That is an exceptionally bad hand. Oh, man. Okay. All right. Cool. That is 7 mana sources. Life is pain. Okay, so they got a Chrome Mox for additional mana. Don't care about Brainstorm. This could do some interesting things, though. Okay, sure. Yep. This could get weird fast. I take 6. Oh, wow, my opponent junks nothing. Oh. So, they go and they fetch, giving them 2 extra attack steps with Morog. I believe the wording on this is a little weird, right? It's if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase, but you don't get additional main phases afterwards. So they did use the fetch with the correct timing. And I die. Okay, we get another chance here. Do I want Thoughtseize when I am on the play? My opponent has Flusterstorm and Force of Will. Probably about 7 cards total that I care about. I hate. There's also potentially Force of Negation. I could go Pithing Needle, Talisman out, and play Thoughtseizes. And be better at stopping my opponent at what they're doing. I'll lose out on some Urza Saga utility. I don't know that I can do that. I've already cut the Piers. Cutting all 4 Wish Claws might be a bit much in terms of making it hard for me to draw the Echo side of my deck. That's a weird hand. I can just turn 1, just Sorcery Speed, Bowmasters my opponent, and play Pithing Needle on Didgeridoo. That doesn't feel like a legacy power level keep to me. I'm gonna keep this hand. Yeah, put back Dark Ritual. I just end of my opponent's turn, or maybe their upkeep in Tomb or an Echo. Yeah, I'm gonna put back Dark Ritual. Yeah, I guess I have Surgical Extraction to think about. Actually, do I give them a chance to use Flusterstorm? Maybe I give them a chance to use Flusterstorm because this Entomb doesn't actually matter. This Entomb is bait. Yeah, okay, that's the plan. So end of turn Entomb. There's an Echo. And I'm not actually intending on casting that. I'm going to play a Fair Urza Saga game and pivot into combo later on. All right, there's an Urza Saga of my opponents. Okay. So why do they want 3 mana? It's not blue, interestingly. So let's do this. Let's play LED. And I'm just gonna activate Urza Saga rather than go for a combo here. My Urza Saga tokens are going to be much better than my opponent's Urza Saga tokens. Yeah. I boarded out Pithing Needle. Did I board out Pithing Needle? I did not board out Pithing Needle. Hopefully I just get my opponent here with that. That would be cool. 4/4's outside of lightning bolt range. All right. Hopefully this pithing needle is gas. Okay, my opponent gave it a good thought, and they are now fetching. Walk away from the computer for a minute. Cat was coughing up a hairball. We're gonna fetch the second time. Yeah, so I needle. I thought we were getting a didgeridoo activation. That didn't happen. All right, so now I do that. Play Vault. Play Lotus Petal. Attack for 8. And I think I'm not even casting Echo here. Like, my thing that I had been setting up for the last few turns was plan on getting LED this turn to double Echo so that one of them resolved, but given that I can just have 2 8/8s chilling in play that will beat out something like a Shadow Spear, I think this is fine. Opponent making a good play of Brainstorming before their free shuffle off Urza Saga. Wow, another Chrome Mox. Imprinting Ponder. They could go up to 5 mana to cast something like a Nahib. Boros Battle Shaper is something that I care about, but that's like 7 mana. Petty Theft on Pithing Needle. Understood. So now they can activate a Didgeridoo. And I think some cool stuff might happen on my turn. I'm feeling good about my turn. So let's cast this Pithing Needle, and I can see what happens with Didgeridoo. All right, how bad is it? Oh, it's just a 2/3. That's fine. I will re-Pithing Needle that. Do I attack with 2 8/8s now, or do I cast Echo? I think I assume that I will draw at least one artifact to make these things larger. I don't play Peat Bog, I don't think. All right, cast Echo. Opponent's got 1 card, so this should resolve. Yeah. Dark Ritual. I think I do this turn fairly. Bowmasters, target you. Play Urza's Saga. Bowmasters. Target you. You're at 8. Either one of my constructs will be lethal. We will not imprint for Chrome Mox. We're just growing the constructs. I have 2 9/9s to attack with. And I also get to Echo of Eons combo again next turn if my constructs somehow don't kill my opponent and I have more Urza Saga constructs coming. I think I just need to dodge Meltdown, and I am good. My opponent can't really cantrip very much for it because I have double Bowmasters. And they might not even be playing Meltdown since they're a Didgeridoo deck. I guess I could play Hercule's Recall, but we got it. All right, so we beat things that aren't Delver. We got a bit of a tough opening hand here in that this gets improved by a lot of draws, but it's a little mana heavy and Wishclaw Talisman is often awkward. I think I'm going to mulligan this one and try to find something of similar power level. I am an Echo of Eons away from doing something broken. Urza Saga, Sheoldred, Echo, Wishclaw Talisman are very good draws. At 16 draws to improve this hand. This is unexciting, but I am going to reluctantly keep it. It's a hand that can hold up Orcish Bowmasters instead of just playing it out, which maybe is good. Okay. 8 cast, maybe? It is indeed 8 cast. Orcish Bowmasters could do some work then. Oh, please don't crack your baubles yet. Please don't crack your baubles yet. Fuck yeah. Nice. Let's go Vault. Lotus Petal. I am going to play out the LED here, just in case my opponent decides to Chalice on 0. Opponent did not crack baubles. That was a weird thing. Okay. All right, so they are going to Chalice. They are going to Chalice on 0, which occurs. And I believe this is just Bowmasters time. My opponent's got Forcible Blue card as their last thing. They have Forcible Blue card as their last thing, but I think I just got to get this going here. Urza Saga is an amazing draw. I'm very happy with that. So the big thing that can steal this game for my opponent is Kappa Cannoneer hitting play, that became a little bit harder with my opponent putting a Chalice on 0. All right, we are gonna get to do some pinging, and that puts my opponent further away from Kappa Cannoneer. I will just ping their face here, and we get to start scaling up this orc damage. Ooh. Yes, you may absolutely cast that card and tap your blocker. Yeah, they figured out what they did. Sheoldred's very good. I play Vault. I think I just go ahead and do my attacks and make my Urza Saga Construct token. Alright, my opponent goes to 13, and I'll just make my Saga tokens. Yeah, my opponent's Chalice has potentially locked them out of the game. Not, like, fully or anything, but it's good. I am going to just take the value out of this. Let's go Yaw. I believe I am searching up a Lotus Petal here. Yeah, because I can search up Lotus Petal, attack for 8 damage, or I can play Vault as well. Attack for 9 damage, and then Sheoldred afterwards. So, round 4 in a row of playing against Force of Will. So we board in 4 defense grids like so. Pithing Needle's okay. It can stop an opposing Urza Saga, but it shuts off my own Urza Sagas while doing so. Like, the various cards I have in my sideboard are totally reasonable. Like, Shadow Spears can help if we end up in these weird mirrors of Urza Saga Construct tokens, where the life gain's relevant. I don't know that I can play Wishclaw Talisman in this matchup, because my opponent's sideboard has Hurkyl's Recall, which is probably disastrous. Yeah. I think I'm into Shadow Spear, Pithing Needle. 1 Thoughtseize. Maybe leave 1 Wishclaw. 1 Thoughtseize feels really weird. And my opponent has a bunch of draw 2 effects. Although I might be punishing those draw 2 effects a lot of times. I'm not sure on that last slot there. This is a very fair looking hand that I honestly might just keep. With another artifact, I have Metalcraft. I have turn 2 Sheoldred 100% of the time. Like, that's fine against a deck like this, I think. And I have the potential of a combo. Like, it's possible my opponent just comes out the gates much faster than I do in keeping this hand. But it's also possible that I end up doing turn 1 Sheoldred. Again, I need 1 artifact. Another Opal. Are we doing Psy? We're doing Thought Monitor. Sure. Orcish Bowmasters. My turn 2 is going to look good. I have 6-ish mana. Emphasis on the ish. Yeah, I wish I would have been able to turn 1 of my things to get damage and pings off of that. Ooh, that's annoying. It's not a deal breaker or anything, but it's annoying. All right. So my opponent is doing just one of those. Then I let that happen. Defense grid. Yeah. Let's cast that. Fine. Getting this into play now, even though it doesn't immediately do anything. And I will play Bowmasters now. It's not at its peak with this timing, but that's okay. Ooh, I don't like that. Because my Shadow Spear is currently off. Yeah, my situation's not the best. Like, Chalice on 1, in theory, isn't, like, that great against me, but it's quite good here. They just happen to have 3 1-drops. Alright, I'm chilling. I'm on all dead cards in hand. My opponent's baubles aren't nearly as good. What is... Otawara? Otawara. That's brutal. That is very costly to me. So, I get to ping. But it's not that good here. Like, I'm facing 4 on-board power while at 10 and having an Ancient Tomb. That's not counting the Urza Saga, which is big. And my opponent is getting another bauble. They don't have to crack it. Oh man, those constructs are so big. Oh, that is a very important piece of information. Oh god, that's terrifying that they have that. Yeah, this matchup's bad. Yeah, I will concede here. Like, yikes. Now, like, my whole combo idea is just bad. uh, okay. I think since my opponent has Bowmasters, I now need to try to disrupt with something like this. I don't know that I play Plague Engineer to try to stop opposing Orcish Bowmasters. I think I'm trying to make an opening on turn 1 or turn 2 and go, rather than answer stuff that's already in play. I think that's my plan. Turn 1, Vault, Thoughtseize. Turn 2, Entomb, Echo. Maybe end up doing that around turn 3 instead. This hand's awkward because I need the Lotus Petal for blue, but I also would like to use the Sheoldred. I think I keep this and hope that I can just punch a hole in what my opponent is doing with this Thoughtseize. Yeah. I will... this is interesting. I maybe just take a bobble. I maybe just take a redraw here and let my opponent have Chalice on 1. Just treat Entomb as a dead card. Play out my Lotus Petal now. Play turn 2 Sheoldred, turn 3 Urza Saga. I'm very surprised this was a keep from my opponent. Yeah, I'm gonna take one of the redraws. Play out Lotus Petal, pass. Ignore the existence of Entomb. All right, Opal, Petal, Bobble. Chalice on 1 is fine. That's not the sort of thing that I am caring about here. So the only way I'm in trouble if my opponent's blind cards were Force of Will plus blue card. Then I lose this Sheoldred, which is kind of a big deal. So yeah, I will cast this and drop the Sheoldred. All right, good stuff. This is worth a lot of damage. It makes Thought Monitors and Thought Casts significantly worse. It makes Bobbles significantly worse. I think I can beat your Urza Saga with my own Urza Saga here. Considering that I have Sheoldred in play as supporting cast. We have similar amounts of artifacts. All right. You're at 12. Emery's good. Kind of. Depends on what Emery hits. Not the best hits. Another Urza Saga. Okay, that's scary. And I guess your Urza Saga happens first. That's a thing. All right. So 1, 2, 3. My opponent can make a 4/4. My opponent could trade both Emery and Construct token for Sheoldred. How do I feel about that? Not the best? Probably not the best. Yeah, I think I need my Sheoldred too much to make that attack. I'm going to make my land drop and pass. I don't know whether or not my opponent would do that, but I think I have to respect it. The Sheoldred is just a very swift clock. Shadow Spear is a problem. Some weird things like Haywire Might could happen as well. I have to make this with this timing due to Pithing Needle. It is Shadow Spear. And then my opponent will play a Bobble. Excuse me, we'll play a Bobble from Graveyard. I don't block here. I want to be able to echo and do unfair things that way. There's a defense grid. So I am fine making more tokens. I did not board in my own Shadow Spear, which I really want in this exact situation. Probably want Mox Opal here so that I can play out my defense grid. If I kill my opponent, it's with a combo kill at this point. I think I want both constructs back on D. Double block construct scenarios are kind of appealing right now. This Chalice is annoying. And we'll see what further nonsense my opponent can fetch up. Alright, that's rough. Double block scenarios are now bad. And it's much harder for me to Sheoldred combo. don't know that you just do that at sorcery speed like that. I take 10, go to 2. My opponent can't recycle the spell bomb with Emery, luckily. But they sure did target it. They sure did target it. Yeah, that will not do it. I think my opponent made some missteps, but I am not able to punish them. I will concede. GG's. All right. Surely we won't get paired against a 5th Force of Will deck in a row, right? So we're going to go LED, LED. I think play Snow-Covered Swamp and go for Echo. I don't think I crack the second LED immediately in case I draw another Echo. All right. Do we get Force of Will yet again? No, we don't. Hell yeah. So, Mox Opal is solid. Chrome Mox is awkward here because Chrome Mox imprints non-artifact cards. So we're going to do something a little cheeky. You're going to cast a Chrome Mox, imprinting nothing, which turns on Metalcraft for Mox Opal, allowing me to play Bowmasters, ping my opponent. Because I have things like Urza's Saga and this Mox Opal in my deck, I do play another Chrome Mox imprinting nothing. The Wish Claws are a touch awkward here. Crack for blue. Cast Echo. Now we're doing the thing. This is what I wanted. I wanted to have more fun. Okay, we do not know what my opponent is playing. It's pretty unlikely they are a Force of Will deck if we gave them a total of 14 cards and they did not have Force of Will either time. So, how do I want to board given that information? If my opponent isn't Force of Willing, Peer into the Abyss becomes a little bit more reasonable. It's possible I want to Thoughtseize my opponent because they could just be a combo deck. It's possible I could want to Leyline of the Void because they're just Reanimator. But I think I might not mulligan, or sorry, not mulligan. I don't think I'm going to sideboard. I'm kind of generically thinking about Thoughtseize. I think I'm just going to whack the submit button and see what happens. This is a little awkward, but it's very close to turn 1ing my opponent. I'm going to keep it. I'm like 1 colored mana source away from greatness. Ooh, Thoughtseize taking my Lotus Petal is a pretty big blow here. Oh. Cool. It's really awkward if my Lotus Petal or Dark Ritual gets countered. I want to play Peat Bog, and if it doesn't, I want to Ancient Tomb. So I'm going to go ahead and cast this. Okay. Seems like my opponent is F6'd, so coast is clear. We'll Dark Ritual into Orcish Bowmasters. Ping you. And just immediately play a second one. Doomsday piles are difficult from here if that's what my opponent is trying to do. Yeah, I do not care about Wasteland. Snuff Out isn't currently a removal spell. I get to crash in for 4. My opponent is pretty likely a Force of Will deck and just didn't have it in game 1. It is another Grixis Delver deck. No, sorry. It is that's going to be a Reanimate? Yeah, that's a Reanimate. Putting my opponent to 6. This is potentially Death's Shadow Delver. We're not quite ready for a Peer yet. We're just chilling here. And we'll see if my opponent dies. I mean, annoying, but this thing can't attack. My opponent can't ever play cantrips. Don't need to cast this right now. I'll just make my land drop and pass. We're just playing draw go. That's a great draw. I don't know if I cast that immediately. It's interesting but risky to do so. That's fine. 2 card types in graveyard. I'll respond there. Or sorry, I don't need to tap both. Just Peat Bog is fine. With that on the stack, we're going to attempt to ping the Dragon Rage Channeler. It is a good amount of selection over time, like despite the fact that going to my opponent's face is very valuable. And they pretty much can't crack that bobble ever again. Cantrips are rough. And I think I'm chilling here. My opponent can't cantrip. I just get to like play this game until I find like Urza Saga or Sheoldred or get enough mana to cast Peer into the Abyss around soft removal. That is interesting. I don't think I'm going to mess around with that yet. I don't think I want to take Ancient Tomb damage to play that, and I don't know that I'm fully giving up on Peer into the Abyss yet for putting it under Chrome Mox. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that I'm talking about here. Okay, I have a backup plan now. So now I will Chrome Mox, imprint Peer, play Urza's Saga, cast Wishclaw Talisman. Yeah, Force of Negation's totally reasonable. Like, I am fully planning on just winning this game with Urza Saga at this point. Swamp Cycling, that is notably not drawing a card. Opponent cannot reanimate that, they will die. And my opponent has conceded. We end up with a 2-3 finish here. So how do we feel about this deck come the end of this video here? Pretty bad, honestly. Not because I think the power level of the deck is bad, but because Legacy has warped around Orcish Bowmasters, or changed around Orcish Bowmasters, depending on how you want to phrase that and what your exact perspective is. In all 5 of our rounds, we played against blue Force of Will decks, and in 4 of those 5 rounds, we played against black Orcish Bowmasters deck that also had Force of Will. And if you're not expecting to just play against mono Bowmasters and Force of Will, this deck is, I think, reasonable. It does powerful things, it has good backup plans, but if the metagame is heavily blue and favored around, or not, centered around Orcish Bowmasters rather, then I don't know what we're doing is actually reasonable anymore. This was a 5-0 deck list from maybe about 2 weeks ago from the time of recording, and this was something that I was really excited to play. But Bowmasters is the name of Legacy right now. Like, we're playing it, and the best answers to Bowmasters is Bowmasters, and when the best answers to Bowmasters is Bowmasters, and one of the best answers to your combo piece is also Bowmasters, that combination of things leaves you in a really awkward spot. Like, this was fun to play, I enjoyed the deck list, but this would be an idea that I would be shelving. I really like this deck in comparison to something like the mono blue Echo of Eons Hullbreacher deck, in that this deck can actually win the game. And it can do so very quickly. Like, we got to turn 1 in that last round, followed by an effective, not literal, turn 2 win the following game. I think Peer into the Abyss probably underperformed, as did Wishclaw Talisman. Wishclaw Talisman was just scary in the face of all these Grixis decks that were probably packing Meltdown, so ever giving my opponent a tutor was a problem, and similarly, playing against Daze a gajillion rounds in a row meant like risking it all on a Peer into the Abyss was pretty brutal as well. So the deck itself gets a thumbs up, its positioning in the metagame gets a huge thumbs down for me. But if you end up wanting to try out any of these cards in paper, check out Cool Stuff Inc. and use promo code ThrabenU to save 5% on your order. Folks, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and let me know what you think down in the comments below. See ya!